So once you have those grains toasted, then we have to give this some water. So 2 cups of water in your pot. That's going to take about 15-20 minutes for this to cook over medium-high heat. So you want to bring it to a boil, put a cover on it. I'm going to sit it right back there on that burner. Put a cover on it and let it cook until the water is absorbed and the barley is nice and fluffy. And what are we going to put it with? So you go out and you get yourself a gorgeous beef shank. Then what do you do with it? Well, then what you do with it is you put it in a pot with some olive oil, and you want to brown it. And I mean brown it well. So it needs to be browned on all sides. And this has been browning for a while now. And I'm going to add some other ingredients to this before I add my liquid. So I've salted it and I've peppered it, salt and pepper. And now we want to add some onions. So here we have some chopped onions. 1 big chopped onion goes in the pan. This is a great soup. You can make it early in the day. You could make it in a slow cooker even if you wanted to use that. And then some pepper. I already put a little pepper in, but I'll put a little bit more. And some celery salt. That's always nice in soup, I think. And a bay leaf. If you're going to do that, you put it in whole. Don't cut it up because those little pieces could get stuck in your throat, and that wouldn't be good. Some oregano. So here is a good teaspoon or so of oregano. And then I like thyme. So here's some chopped up fresh thyme. I like fresh herbs for this. And some parsley goes in. So there is our parsley. And now we need the liquid for this. And I'm using water, but I'm also going to add some tomato paste. So here's about a tablespoon of tomato paste. I'm just going to mix it in the water. Actually, you could just put the whole thing in if you wanted to, but mix it in the water, in your water, or you could use, again, you could use chicken broth for this if you didn't want to use water. So you get about 7 cups of water. And right over my spoon, I'm going to pour that so it doesn't splatter me. To almost cover that meat, get that mixed in. Okay, now we need to add some vegetables to this. And I like to add what are often referred to as the evangelisti of Italian cooking. And that would be celery and carrots. And you just want to coarsely chop those up. Now we can cover this. Let this go. It's going to take about 2 hours. Because as I said, that is a very tough piece of meat. So I'm going to move this over now because I've made one for you ahead of time. And let me show you what this soup looks like. This is something that I would serve in the wintertime, especially because it's nice and hearty. So there it is, all cooked down. And now what we have to do is take out the meat. So we want to take the meat out. And by now, it should be falling off the bone. So take it out onto a dish. And now you have to cut that up. So I like to do that on a meat sheet. So I take the meat, and I get rid of this bone. Take that right out. You can throw that away. And then what you want to do is cut around this meat. Cut it up into pieces. Take off all of that fat that's on the outside. And I'll give you a little tip. I usually make this soup ahead of time. I put it in the refrigerator, and then I allow it to get cold. And what happens is all of the fat that's in the meat, all of the fat congeals and rises to the surface, and then I can cut it up, take it off, and then I just cut up the meat and put it in my soup. So I think you get the idea. We put that back there. We turn this to the soup. So all the meat goes in, just like that. And then you add back that barley. Here's that barley that we cooked, you see? It's all fluffed up now. So the barley goes in, all of the barley. That's going to actually thicken up that soup a bit. And I like peas with this. So you could either use fresh or frozen peas. I put them in at the end because peas really don't need to be cooked. So you add all of that in, and you reheat it, and you have yourself a beautiful barley soup.